But what will they make of each other?
I'm Dawn. Where do your organs fit? You see where mine go?
When I looked at her, all I could think about was the fat. Because like her tummy was like really big, and even like her underwear and stuff, she was like falling out of it.
So what sort of like size trousers would you wear?
22. Oh, she is so thin. There is nothing of her. The biggest thing about her is her hair.
There's really no need for this. They're just basically like sniping at each other about how much they don't like each other's bodies. Like that just seems uncalled for. I don't know. I never liked this part of the show where they're just sort of like commenting on each other's bodies. Like, it's none of your business. Like, it's just there for like making it more salacious, right?
Methinks I'm going to be hungry.
I think maybe she loves food too much.
I think this diet swap's going to be harder than I originally thought.
For the next 5 days, these polar opposites are going to be swapping diets to show them that their portions are way out of kilter.
They're still in their
and
underwear.
to shock them into changing their terrible eating habits. They've both
Here we go with the tube.
meals. Time to see the shocking truth of what really goes in their mouths.
Okay, Charlene, we're going to start with you. And I like to start at the top of the day with your breakfast. How many times do you miss breakfast?
About 3 times.
Bit of cereal, bit of toast. A bit uninspiring breakfast, aren't they?
There's nothing there.
There's nothing there.
Sandwich, that's a fairly standard lunch thing. What else? That looks like a burger and chips and milkshake. Remember we were talking a little bit about saturated fats and cholesterols, and you asked me where is the cholesterol coming from in your diet? Well, that's one of the places. Dinner time now. How are you feeling at this point?
Tired.
Looking forward to a big slap-up meal?
Sometimes.
You do?
Yeah.
Is that the big slap-up meal? What is that?
Brown rice.
And a bit of potato. Okay, well, that was one of your slap-up meals. Talk me through that. There's some Yorkshire puddings. What else?
I think it's chicken and potatoes.
So that, to me, really looks like the first proper balanced meal that I've actually seen.
Charlene should be eating 2,000 calories a day, but her tiny portions mean she's consuming only 1,000.
You could put the most delicious food on earth in that tube. It would look disgusting. Like, this is just to work on their ratings.
1,400, which is the recommended amount for a 4 to 6-year-old girl.
You're deficient in pretty much everything. There's just not enough food there at all for a healthy adult. Okay, so Dawn, should we do breakfast?
I'm glad he said that part.
Here we go. What
because no one should be able to live on that.
Tiramisu.
Why?
Because it's there in the fridge.
Let's see what else there is then. Bacon, sausage, mushrooms, egg, toast, more sausage, bacon, egg, mushrooms, toast.
She's having mushrooms. Mushrooms are
Let's go on to lunches.
a different thing than meat.
Sandwiches.
That's good.
Half to a
A little bit of variety there.
For lunch.
Yeah.
It's mental.
She's not wrong. It is mental.
It's an awful lot of food. Do you ever have a vegetable?
No.
No.
Oh, no.
Why not?
They take up room on the plate.
It's not funny.
I've noticed a pattern though where like there's a lot of judgment often from like the people on one side to the food of the person on the other when like both of them are here for basically a really unhealthy relationship with food. So it's like it's a little bit it makes me think of stones and glass houses, you know what I mean?
This is one of the worst diets that I have seen, and I want you to take this seriously now, okay? Dinners. Okay, that's an entire chicken. Pork chops.
Over a year, meat maniac Dawn is wolfing down 208 whole chickens, 1,716 rashers of bacon, 3,800 sausages, 36,000 slices of deli meat, and 36 kilos of minced beef. This meat-laden diet means she's consuming 1,000% more than the recommended amount of protein, which could lead to heart disease, kidney damage, osteoporosis, and several types of cancer.
I know that there's like, it's harder to comment on something that's not there than something that is there. But I just want to draw attention to how much they're like measuring every single thing she's eating in a way that they didn't with the thin girl. Like they're really trying to give you these exorbitantly high numbers of, you know, she's had this many sausages in a year and this many rashers of bacon and this many chickens and so on. There's really no effort to balance that on the other side of like, hey, an average adult would eat this much in a year, and this on the thin girl on that side, she eats like a quarter of that. And like to sort of like balance that out, there's such a judgment of the fat girl's food that you don't really see in the same way with the thin girl, where the announcer or the narrator or whatever you want to say is just sort of like throwing all these numbers out to sort of scare you. Okay, but it's also very scary that this girl over here has a deficiency in practically everything, is what he said. And she could actually pass away from those deficiencies, right? Like that's very dangerous. I'm really concerned for her. And as I say, I really hope she gets meaningful treatment for this, because it is dangerous as well.
Every bit of rind that you put in your mouth is adding to the artery clogging cholesterol. But that's not all your snacks, is it?
And Dawn washes the whole lot down with 6 litres of caffeine-laden diet cola.
Hang on. I just watched them dump a bunch of pistachios in there. Pistachios are great. I was asking earlier, where's she getting her fiber? There's fiber in nuts. There's lots of great nutrients in nuts. So she's getting something good out of that she would not be getting from the rest of her diet. It's interesting they completely gloss over that. They show it, but they don't actually say anything about it. They just then comment on like, oh yeah, and then she drinks a bunch of soda or whatever. Like, there's definitely a slant here, right? Like, they're not giving her credit for any of the stuff that she's eating that is actually giving her tons of nutrients, like pistachios. They give you so much great stuff. It's just very transparent. I don't know. I find it kind of funny.
Every day.
You are stimulating your pleasure centres in your brain. Those are the same centres that get stimulated by cocaine and heroin. It's an addiction, this, and this is why you're going to find it hard to change, but you must, because it's killing you.
Dawn's gorging on a staggering 8,000 calories a day, the equivalent of eating for 4.
I actually thought we were done at one point, and then more came, and then the snacks came, and then I thought, wow, this is far too much.
If someone can eat 3 times the amount that I can eat, then surely I could try to eat a bit more.
They're making them feel some kind of way about those tubes, but those tubes are so inflammatory. I don't like the tubes. Both of them are feeling bad about what they eat because it's looking disgusting in this tube. Like, anyone would feel that way if they saw their food just smushed up in this weird tube. Like, I don't know. I don't like that.
This week's feeding clinic residents are meat maniac Dawn and serial meal skipper Charlene. They're swapping diets to get Dawn to cut back on the huge portions and Charlene to increase hers.
Let's go and eat.
Superskinny Charlene's dish du jour is a 20-ounce steak with 3 large flat mushrooms topped with a generous dollop of pâté and grilled cheese, and a pint of cola to wash it down. While for Supersize Dawn, it's 4 spoons of brown rice and half a boiled potato.
It's going to be the first brown rice I've ever had. It's very chewy.
Larger people tend to eat quickly.
They do.
But do you think it's because you can get more in a short amount of
It
time?
is. It's exactly what it is.
So here we see her saying out loud, large people tend to eat more quickly. And it's like her kind of putting that assumption on this lady who does eat very quickly and this lady who eats very quickly saying, yes, that's what it is. But as I say, when she describes the way that she's eating so quickly that like most people don't eat that way. And so it's sort of, as I say, reinforcing this idea that like this very extreme example represents all fat people, right? So it's just more of that messaging. I don't know why they think that's appropriate. It's weird to me.
So how can we put pâté on the mushroom and then cheese?
Because it's just nice.
It's not long before Dawn's gulped down her bland meal.
The starter done.
But Charlene is struggling with her enormous mound of meat.
Have you had any steak?
No.
Are you avoiding the steak?
Yeah, because I don't like meat that's like chewy.
Are you done, Charlene?
I can feel my tummy.
Really?
Pushing out, yeah. I do think it's really obvious where she's going wrong, because she's just putting on like so much saturated fats into everything she eats.
I'm quite scared now. I think reality's just kicked in with the meal. I think I'm going to be very, very hungry.
next morning, and Dawn's feeling the effects of 24 hours of going cold turkey from her meat and caffeine addiction.
I'm so tired and so headachy and I feel really ill.
And there's not much on the breakfast menu to cheer her up.
Is that it?
Yeah.
But for Charlene, there's a monster meaty fry-up, including a whole packet of sausages, an entire packet of bacon, scrambled eggs, white bread, and the ever-present cola.
What's up with the 6 sausages?
Well, because there's 6 in a pack.
So you have to
So
cook
you
the
have
whole
the
pack.
full pack.
But why?
Because I can. So you are eating the sausage, that's good.
Not so keen on the fat though.
No, I can see that. Yeah, you're cutting the best bits off.
That's the worst bits in my book. And you say they're the best bits.
Yeah, I eat the fat first.
And before long, finicky Charlene is making excuses to avoid the meal in front of her.
Would you eat the skin of the sausages?
Obviously.
If I see it, I tend to remove it.
Open your mouth and put it in.
If I won't like something, then I won't eat it.
Is that it? Is that all you can manage?
That is.
You eat quite a child-sized portion, really. Which, you know, I admit that is excessive. But I also do not think that this is enough for anybody.
For Dawn, starved of all her usual fixes, this is incredibly tough.
I didn't think I would go through the hunger and the emotions that come with that.
I'm feeling really angry at this show, and the reason for that is that they've acknowledged from the off that what Charlene, I think is her name, is eating is not enough for a person. That is why she has no energy. That's why she has like all these deficiencies and stuff. It is incredibly irresponsible to then make a different person do that. Right? We know the effect it's had on Charlene. So now we're like, hey, let's do like this weird experiment where we see what the effect is on Dawn. That's incredibly irresponsible. I don't like that. Of course, Dawn is feeling terrible. That is not enough food for anybody.
Like any other addiction, food addicts are out of control. Many, like Dawn, binge on foods laden with fat, salt or sugar, which releases serotonin, giving them an instant high.
I just want to point out what they're doing here, which is that they're contrasting Dawn being like feeling very, very badly because she's eating hardly any food. And then they're going into this thing about like, yeah, she's an addict. That's why she feels bad. No, she feels badly because that's not enough food for anybody. And I don't like that kind of messaging. That is a choice, a very intentional choice that they're making to tell the story in this way.
Common signs of withdrawal are depression, headaches, insomnia and irritability. Compulsive overeaters believe it's more difficult to recover from than other addiction because they have to face their demons 3 times a day. We're becoming a nation fixated with our bodies. A staggering 3 in 4 of us are unhappy with our body shape. But for some, that unhappiness can run much deeper, and currently 1.6 million people in the UK have an eating disorder.
I'm not surprised that many people have eating disorders.
We're 3 weeks into an 8-week course designed to help 3 women with different eating disorders develop a healthier relationship with food and their bodies. The course is led by dietitian Ursula Philpott and overseen by consultant psychiatrist Dr. Helena Fox. Last week, Ursula helped the girls confront their food fears in the supermarket.
This week I really want the group to focus in on their relationship with their bodies. I want to know how they feel about them and why. I've invited the girls to have 3D plaster casts of their torsos and hope they'll be able to confront their distorted body image.
Emma, 34, suffers from anorexia.
I absolutely hate how I look. I don't like any mention on my body or image because I just kind of want to shut it out.
Mina, 32, suffers from bulimia.
I definitely feel enormous. I want to be thin, but I don't want to be thin. I want to not care, really.
19-year-old Erin suffers from a form of anorexia known as anorexia binge purge subtype.
I feel disgusting in the way that I look now. I feel ugly.
That is the coldest bit when you're first getting done.
Erin has volunteered to go first.
I'm really excited for getting the body cast done because I used to always be a really arty person, but the eating disorder's kind of taken that away from me.
Ursula has advised the girls to eat breakfast beforehand, as standing up for a long time on an empty stomach can make you faint. However, Erin, who often faints due to the fact that she regularly binges and purges, starts to feel lightheaded.
Yeah, I think I'm going to faint.
Okay.
We've got you.
Purging regularly is a very dangerous activity because when one induces vomiting, one vomits up potassium, and this causes a low level of potassium in the blood and therefore puts the heart at risk of developing a wrong rhythm, which can sometimes be fatal.
We need to get her down onto her knees. Yeah.
The sufferer will experience feeling faint, feeling dizzy, feeling cramps, and sometimes collapse.
So I'll give you some sugar and some potassium.
The fainting probably was something to do with the anorexia and the potassium deficiency as well. Okay.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm feeling better already.
I am glad that they're showing this, because this is actually very frank about the disorders that people can have related to food. And it shows that this is a really serious problem that needs to be treated with care. It just doesn't reconcile well with the rest of the show. You know, they just really trivialize this stuff throughout most of the show. And then they show this segment and it's like, yeah, this is how we should be treating this. It is really serious. And they do need to have therapists and they do need to have professionals who are intervening and trying to help them work through their stuff so that they can lead a happier life where they're a little bit more free around the choices they make around their bodies and around food, like the way they see themselves, their self-esteem, all of those different things. Like, that's so important to our well-being. And this show really just glosses over that most of the time. So I'm really confused about, like, if they're putting this segment in, clearly they know this to be true. So, like, why do they gloss over it the rest of the time? I'm just really confused about that piece.
When I was at my lowest weight, I couldn't really go outside of the house without feeling really faint.
As a result of Erin's fainting bout, dietitian Ursula wants the group to eat some more before continuing with the task. But for a group with eating disorders, mealtime can be a frightening experience.
I was expecting a little bit of fish. Not a whole thing.
Yeah, so the portion looks a bit shocking to you?
Yes.
Yeah. How's yours, Mina?
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's got quite a lot of dressing on it, and I wouldn't usually put dressing on a salad.
Dressing on there doesn't worry you too much?
It would probably worry me more if I let it, I suppose.
Yeah, we're not designed to have fat-free diets. Our diet should be about 30% fat, actually. Erin ordered a pizza. Erin's tendency is to overeat on highly palatable or high-fat foods and then purge them. And she agreed that actually she would try and have just a few slices of pizza but keep those down. Are you all right, Erin? Do you want me to take it away? Or
Soon, yeah. I think so.
You don't want to be feeling really full and like you want to be sick.
But Erin, who's used to binging, is finding the pizza hard to resist.
Okay, should we put them to one side? Yeah.
It's nice to see them meeting the girls where they're at. Like this, I think she's a dietitian, the lady who's taken them out for dinner. She's really trying to not be judgmental. She's really trying to just like play a support role in like whatever that specific girl's needs are. And that's the kind of like informed support that I would like to see for people on the show generally. And like, she seems very informed about this stuff. She seems very supportive. She seems non-judgmental. And she seems like a great person to be helping people who are struggling with food and their body image to kind of deal with that stuff and start to rethink those things. And I think like that would be a better show than the weird like swapping diets thing. I think that would be actually a really great show if people were able to, you know, it takes courage to like put yourself out there and say like, I'm going to tell the whole world I have this like disorder, right? But I think like that would actually be really nourishing for people's souls who are going through a similar thing in a way that the main thrust of this show really is not. More of this, please.
Meanwhile, back in the diet swap, lard-loving Dawn and calorie-counting Charlene are supposed to be swapping diets.
Exactly what I described. They transition from this incredibly serious thing to back back at the diet swap, lard-loving Dawn and calorie-counting Charlene are having a picnic or whatever. And it's like, can you not see how you're trivializing this stuff? Like, can you not see what you're doing? Like, this is bananas.
But so far, Charlene's been making excuses to avoid Dawn's food. Lunch today is a picnic, and for Charlene, there's a feast of Dawn's favourite fixes. But for Dawn, who's only had a glass of water all day, it's just a solitary cheese sandwich.
It's nice to eat something.
The amount of cheese alone just puts me off.
I wasn't keen on the water for breakfast either, but, you know, I had it. What are you doing with that?
Looking at it.
Why?
See what it is.
Oh, pick it up and eat it. Go on.
Dawn's vast portions would overwhelm anyone, but Charlene's minuscule mouthfuls are barely making a dent.
Just eat the tomatoes off it then.
But even the tomatoes aren't nice.
It ain't gonna kill you. I'm starting to get a little bit tired of her moaning, pushing food about, holding it in her mouth, and just not giving this a go.
I would agree that there's an imbalance of how much Charlene is seeming willing to commit to this and how much Dawn is willing to commit to it. We see Dawn sort of saying, I'm feeling unwell, but Charlene is just basically saying, that looks gross, that looks gross, that looks gross. There's no real, like, stepping outside of her comfort zone in the same way that Dawn seems willing to do. And so I can see why, especially with Dawn feeling so restricted and feeling unwell, I can see why it would be really annoying to sit there and have a meal with this woman.
And as the day wears on, the tension builds, with another tiny dinner of chicken curry and rice for Dawn.
I eat this. I really don't.